Reach high, aim high, and obtain. As everyone knows, I always like to, if there's a possibility for helping you guys and myself with getting even better results from yogurt, I'm gonna share it. So I've been using this probiotic for years, and it's Ultimate Probiotics, and it's by the company Global Healing, and the owner of it is Dr. Group. And I'm gonna turn this over so you can see on here, towards the beginning of the list of ingredients, is the Bacillus subtilis, and then about a little bit further down it has Lactobacillus Gasseri, and then a little bit after that it says Lactobacillus reuteri. So it's got the Bacillus subtilis, the L. Gasseri, and the L. reuteri all in one product, already blended for us. And I've been taking this intermittently for years, just, to help my health and just in general. I think it's always good to provide oneself with a good plethora of different probiotics. Now, I do have, this is the older bottle that is the products. And you can see, just so you know, it is vegan, it's non-GMO. It's got probiotics in it that are fabulous, and you can see the count on it is fabulous as well. 100 billion CFU. I mean, how awesome is that? But on these, there hasn't really been a change. However, about 6 months ago, there was a change from where it historically had the spore-based part to now you don't see the spore-based part on the ingredients. So I called them up because it still had the reuteri, it still had the Bacillus subtilis, and it still had the Gasseri. And I saw that the bottle still tended to have online this top section of ingredients. I called them up and I says, I've noticed this change in your product. What's happened? And they says, well, about 6 months ago, they did do a change. And occasionally they will change some of the ingredients, but the majority of them stay the same. And the reason for those changes is a few different things. One is if their sourcing can't guarantee the purity and the quality, they won't include it because they're so adamant about providing the best ingredients to their customers. If they're unable to get the quantity, they won't include it because they make this to have the perfect blend to help the body. And then lastly, if they can't trust their sourcing, they won't include it. But in general, it tends to stay unchanged, but with a few fluctuations, they said occasionally here and there. But in general, it tends to stay the same, which is why online, this top section I checked, the ingredients stayed the same. It's just the spore-based part went away. And so they said, that's why sometimes you may see fluctuations in the ingredients, but it shouldn't be substantial. It's not all the time. It's just because they want to guarantee the quality that they're giving their customer so that you can trust what they're giving to you. So that's how come there is a slight change. It's not 36 anymore, but who knows? They said that might come back too. It's just a question of, like I said, the quality, the quantity, and the sourcing, because they want to make sure that they always give their customers the best product and facilitate their health and their healing. Therefore, Global Healing, right, is the name of the company. But because it already has all the strains that you would typically use for SIBO, I said to myself, well, why in the world am I buying a reuteri, a Gasseri, and a Bacillus subtilis strain when it's already in their product? It's already got that perfect blend of these other probiotics with it. So I'm like, why would I even bother buying all these extra strains and when I can find it in one product? So I says to myself, okay, so I did a test the other week where I used my SIBO starter and one of these. But I says, you know what? I think I need to help you guys and me discover if I can use one of the capsules here to start with, because it's got everything in it. Plus, and I think by having more strains, it's better for the gut, because I feel like if one just focuses on one strain or one probiotic approach, it's not as, I think, beneficial as what it is when one gets multiple strains, multiple cultures, because then it triggers a chain reaction of goodness in the gut of saying, oh, let me activate this so I can digest that and I can help with this. And I feel like that by giving it more, I'm giving it more healing to help facilitate nutrition uptake, absorption, and health. And they may bring things back. I think I like this better than the Reuteri and the SIBO. The flavor profile is better. And actually the other day I had something and it upset my stomach really bad. I actually took a little bit of this with some of our whole milk, stirred it together, and it actually settled my stomach.
And it was pretty much right away.
And it was almost like instantaneous. It fixed what was going on with my stomach. And usually I would go for my apple cider vinegar with water and a little bit of honey. But for some reason my instinct said, go for this. So I do my best to listen to my body and what it tells me. And it said, go for this. And it was like instantaneous. I think that was faster actually than the apple cider vinegar.
Yeah. Because
of
the
how quick
apple cider vinegar it takes a little bit of time.
Yeah, it takes a little bit.
It does pretty fast
does
results,
great.
but this was instantaneous.
Yeah, and you actually saw it. Since that moment, I have stayed dedicated in consuming this yogurt and have noticed substantial differences in myself, my family, and my friends that I have to share this with you guys. In myself, I've noticed huge energy changes, a restoration naturally to the biorhythms I had as a child, an enjoyment with life each time I wake up, joy, happiness, activities I hadn't been motivated to do in years are coming very easily and naturally to me, and my body is positively changing as well. The benefits being experienced are so phenomenal in myself and those around me that I knew I had to share this with you guys. So to start with, I'm showing you the list of the ingredients as they are currently in the product on Global Healing. And I'm going to follow that up with sharing with you guys the details behind every single item except the other ingredients portion at the very bottom. And this is just so awesome. The information that I discovered, I wanted to give you guys as much information as possible so you can truly see the powerhouse of including this in one's lifestyle, that this will happen. The 24 strains of probiotics found in Global Healing's Ultimate Probiotic Daily Full Spectrum Probiotic with advanced prebiotics at 100 billion CFU are a synergistic blend that benefits the body in many ways. The benefits provided by the 24 strains of probiotics in the product were more than could be covered in this video and are numerous. However, I have done my best to highlight each ingredient concisely for you to discover the initial impact such a powerful combination of ingredients can have in one's life. After going through the probiotic and prebiotic blend portions, I will then show you how I've created one of the most luxurious yogurts I have ever made to date and share with you just how awesome the results of using this approach will be. Enjoy.
Most people think probiotics are all the same, but when you combine 24 different strains with prebiotics and bacteriophages, something incredible happens in your gut. Your intestinal lining becomes a battlefield where trillions of organisms work together like a symphony. Bacillus coagulans and Bacillus subtilis are the survivors. They're spore-forming bacteria that pass through your stomach acid unharmed, then germinate in your intestines to crowd out pathogens. Bacillus clausii does the same thing, producing antimicrobial substances that kill bad bacteria while surviving antibiotics. The Lactobacillus family, including Acidophilus, Plantarum, Casei, and Rhamnosus, colonize your small intestine and produce lactic acid that drops the pH, making it impossible for harmful bacteria to thrive. They also manufacture B vitamins and enhance nutrient absorption. Lactobacillus gasseri specifically targets belly fat, while Reuteri produces Reuterin, a powerful antimicrobial compound. The bifidobacterium strains, Longum, Bifidum, Breve, and Animalis lactis, dominate your colon. They break down complex carbohydrates, produce short-chain fatty acids that feed your colon cells, and strengthen your intestinal barrier. Saccharomyces boulardii is different. It's a beneficial yeast that protects against antibiotic-associated diarrhea and fights Clostridium difficile infections. Now here's where it gets wild. The 4 bacteriophages, LHO1, LL5, T4D, and LL12, are viruses that only attack harmful bacteria, leaving your beneficial strains untouched. They're like precision-guided missiles for pathogens. Organic agave inulin and gum acacia feed all these probiotics, helping them multiply and produce metabolites that reduce inflammation throughout your entire body. Archaea and eukaryotic microorganisms complete the ecosystem, communicating through chemical signals that regulate your immune system, mood, and even brain function through the gut-brain axis. This isn't just digestion. This is total body transformation from the inside out.
Now, let's make Ultimate Probiotic Yogurt together. So this really sticks on, so it rips up really well, and so it came apart on me. But I wanted to show you that they put cotton there to, absorb all the excess air, and then you have your probiotics that come out. And then what I like to do personally is I tend to like to put the little bit there, but I'll use my old bottle lid because it's the same size, so I can get a really good seal. But see here, I can put it on there, and that way it's got that cushion seal, so it tends to stay fresher, I think, than if I don't have that kind of seal on it. I noticed that if I just put the lid back on like this, that the probiotics or whatever product I'm using, it doesn't tend to stay as fresh as if I put that little piece back on. Just as a little FYI for any of you that's trying to do something like this. So, okay, we're going to open this up, and it's actually sealed really well. That's right. There we go. And you can see it's just, it's not a huge capsule, but that's a good sized capsule, people. Our 2 tablespoons of our prebiotic fiber that's from Cutting Edge Cultures, like we did when we first did the Reuteri or we first did our SIBO yogurt. And you have to give it those good guys, right? To give it the facilitation for everything to happen. So let's do that together. It's out. So 1. I keep getting the, what's it called? Let me just take that out. I keep getting that in my scoop, which is good. It's just not good when you're trying to scoop 2. Okay, I'm gonna put that back here. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm purposely, before I add any product, is I'm gonna stir that together. Now you may be like, well, why are you stirring? It's just powder and powder. Well, I have learned that if I stir my probiotics with my prebiotic fiber before I add liquid, it tends to be less clumpy when I start adding the liquid. So that's why I'm stirring it in advance. Okay, so now shake it up.
Fill your milk.
Yeah, I'm gonna shake it up, and I am using, let me show you this. I'm using the, oh, there we go. I'm using heavy cream as usual because I've learned with my yogurt and these cultures in general that everything comes out better with just using solid heavy cream. Now I am going to be doing a test shortly here of heavy cream that you can technically order online, and I will be sharing that just so that we can see how it does if it's not this, and potentially help you guys that are trying to get a quality heavy cream that is just heavy cream without having to get xanthan gum or what have you, or guar gum in your product. So I will be sharing the hair. And on this, I'm just gonna do a little bit at a time because I want everything to be well mixed first. And I've learned that if I do slow and steady on this, everything will integrate well and we'll have a really great little to no clump when I get my result. And we want to do our best to dissolve everything into the cream. And you can see here at the bottom, it's not sticking as much. Now I see a little bit on the side there where I need to scrape it into the cream. But in general, you can see that everything's coming together really well, huh?
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
I like how you get it stirred together. It's so smooth.
Well, I think as the consumer, you really like it.
That's right. I'm your biggest fan.
Oh, aren't you sweet? I love it. But I have learned, and see here how it's already gotten thick. See that? That's what you're looking for. That means you integrated everything very well. If you're still seeing some clumps, then you just want to take some time to love on it. And just make, and then what I always like to do too is take it to the side, and I like to do a little bit of a scrape here. And that's because I've learned sometimes with my spoon, things will stick on the end, and I want to make sure it all gets in there and well integrated. And I learned that a while back. I was like, oh, I think I'm missing some cultures and some prebiotic fiber. And so I've learned if I just scrape the side. And I've also found that if I do it in this glass container, and this is actually a 8-cup glass pitcher container. It's actually a measuring cup. You can see it has the pour spout and the handle. So when it comes time to putting it into my yogurt maker, it makes it so much easier, and I don't have to worry about an additional container or trying to get out measuring spoons because I can do it all right here. So that's one thing I do want to caveat is you might want to take some time just to invest in a good. I found this thing years ago at Crate and Barrel. It was in Charlotte, and when I saw it and it came with a lid, I got all excited because I was making cheesecake at the time, and I was really wanting an easy way of having it all in one container and easily accessible and mixable and pourable. And I was like, Mom, I need an 8-cup measuring cup. I need an 8-cup measuring cup. And I kept asking for it, and then all of a sudden, lo and behold, there one was. And so that's how come I now use this so much. I use this so much, and in instances where you wouldn't think, oh, you know, don't need a 8-cup. Trust me, you will find many instances in which
when we found this, we got so excited.
Oh, I remember. Okay, I think I've got this well stirred, and if you can, I don't know how well you can see this, but I don't see a lot of clumps now because I did that pre-mixing and I did
That's
that
right, you did it so thoroughly.
Yeah, and you want to make sure you get that so that when it comes time to actually put this in your yogurt maker, everything's going to incorporate and have been incorporated. So I'm going to finish pouring all this in now, and we're going to get up to 6 cups or 1.5 quarts for those of you that prefer the quarts approach. But that's what we're aiming for. So let me add this.
I think you mentioned before, even though we buy this directly from the farm,
You can get this at the local stores. And
our
they actually,
local Whole Foods carried
Yes.
it. So I don't know what everybody else's Whole Foods would have, but
That's true.
it
'cause-
might be worth checking into.
Yes. In our Whole Foods, and I actually put it on our, I think it was Errand Day video, that it shows that they actually flag it as a locally produced and displayed product. They actually put the word local on it and say where it's from and everything, which was really nice. And I wanted to show you guys that it's not just at the local farm, but they sell it at the local county store. They also sell it at Whole Foods, and I'm sure there's a few other stores that carry it. I just haven't been to them yet, so I can't say for sure. But I know those two specifically carry it, which is the Shiloh General Store, and then also the Whole Foods Market store does as well. Okay, I think we're looking good here. Look at that.
Okay.
So we're gonna go over to our yogurt maker center, because it is a center with all the yogurt makers we got there. But we enjoy our yogurt, and we'll do next steps there. Okay, so let me pull this out, and we're going to get our lid off. Okay, and then I always do inside of lid to inside of lid to maintain the sanitization of this. So that way everything's just sanitary. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this, give it another quick stir, because sometimes if you give it a little bit of time, it'll kind of settle. And so I feel like it's good to give it another quick stir before
It's integrated well.
Yes. And that way too, I can make sure everything's stirred well and there's no potential separation before I pour it in. That's just my thought process, because I've seen over time, you know, like it's kind of like when you add something to water and you just see it float to the bottom.
Exactly.
And you're like, I put you on the top. Why aren't you floating on the top? I know it goes to the bottom. So then we're going to do 3 cups approximately into each one. And I'm going to do my best to try and reach the 3 cup mark. So I'll do a little bit into each one before I top them off, because I need to try and keep these even as much as possible. Okay, and then I'm gonna go to the other one. Okay, and then this should finish it off. Okay, that's pretty even.
For that.
Yeah, I think that's always the challenging part, is trying to make them as even as possible. Okay, so we're gonna put our lids on, and then always press down on the lid when you put it on to make sure you get all the air out. That's what I see. You can hear it on that one. But always press it down, so you should fill it in. If you don't, lift up the corner and then press down again, because you want to make sure you feel that indentation on this particular brand in the lid. Okay, now we're going to add approximately 4 cups of water, and just so you know, this is filtered water at room temperature, and my cream was at room temperature as well. So everything I'm doing is at room temperature, and this time also the starter culture was at room temperature just because of the brand, and it doesn't require any kind of special refrigeration or anything. And so we're going to pour that in.
Oh, that's nice.
And yeah, we're at the line, because you're looking to get to the yogurt line. And let's put our lid on. I'm gonna slide that in to get it out of the way, of course. And then that's number 2 for number 2, plug in. So let's get that. Yeah, I labeled them. That way I don't accidentally unplug the wrong one. Especially when I'm doing multiples. I'm gonna do the minus to get down to 99. We'll hit start, and then we're gonna do the minus to reverse it so we get to the 36 hours quicker. And there we go, 36. So now we're gonna come back in 36 hours. Then we'll put it in, dry it off, put it in the fridge, and do next steps. So it's flashing that it's finished. So we're going to unplug it, turn off the power with the lid. I always lift it away so I don't get a mess all over the place. Do a quick wipe. Oh. Try and lift that delicately. See, oh wow, I see very little separation.
Wow.
If any. I think it's,
wow.
I think I see just a hair of separation.
That is just wonderful.
What was that, baby?
That's wonderful, honey.
Yeah, I'm excited. Well, this should be a really good batch. But this is also a first batch, so when I see very little separation.
Oh, first batch.
I mean, look at that. It's not, it's like maybe a hair's width. I don't know if you can see that.
I can. That's
And that's a
wonderful.
first batch with no starter of any kind.
Congratulations, high five, and all that.
I mean, look at that.
is wonderful.
It's just a hair. I mean, it's not even the width of my finger. That's how awesome that is. Okay, so we're gonna put this in the fridge.
Okay.
Let it cool down and thicken at the same time. And then we'll come back and just, I'm gonna give it my standard 8 hours at least. And then we'll see how it did. It has now been 8 hours later. And let's see how our first batch with just the culture of the Ultimate Probiotics has turned out yogurt-wise. So, obviously I had a little bit of liquid on my lid that went in. Ooh,
Look at that.
now that is luxurious. Now I do see water, see that? But we knew we have a little bit. But let's see how it does overall. Ooh, this is very luxurious. Huh, I mean, look at that.
That is fantastic.
And see, I don't see as much. You know how sometimes I'll get those clumps and then I'm like trying to press out the clumps? I don't feel that so much with this.
And this is the first batch.
Yep,
Oh my goodness.
look at that. That's actually quite luxurious.
This is the best yet, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I didn't start with the SIBO like I did the other one. I just started with the culture and then the cream. And I mean, look at how smooth this is. I mean, I don't feel or see really, I mean, I see a few clumps when I do that, you know, like right there. But overall, I mean, look at how smooth that is.
I bet your second and third
Will be
will
even
be
better.
super thick.
Yeah, and see, the thing is, look at how it's coating the spoon. And see, I know if I give this time, because see how it's also making lines and you can kind of see where it's making implants with it. I think if I give this time in the fridge, it'll thicken up even more.
Oh, that's a good point. Because
that's
usually
what-
once it sits in the fridge after you've stirred it,
It always
it
gets...
gets thicker.
Okay, so I'm going to do the other one here, because remember, it makes 2 batches. So let's
This
see.
is the best yet, I do believe.
Yep, let's see how this one did. Okay, so I always like to go in the center and see how, now see this one? Look at that, I don't see as much water in this one. And see, it had a little bit more of a crusting, see that? It's almost like a jello. See how I move it and the whole thing moves? Now I do see, now see right there, it had a little bit of water. Let's see how much we get there. So it's not bad though. And it's not like traditional whey collar. So I think this is a huge improvement from my
I think we've got a
Reuteri.
winner.
Yeah, I think this is way better. And see, it's got see, look at how smooth that looks.
Wow.
And see, this is batch 1 smoothness.
I want to see how it does after it's refrigerated again.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll
Just
put
come
this.
back to it before.
Yeah, so what I'll do, because this is nighttime, because we waited our needed 8 hours,
Yeah.
is I'll stir this here. We'll stir both of them because they're both kind of doing the same thing. But I mean, look at how smooth that is. Even how the results are.
I love that.
Yeah.
Love it.
But what we'll do is we'll put this in the fridge because based on my experience and history is once I've stirred it and then I let it chill again or cool.
It gets another level of thickness.
Yeah, and then it becomes more like a Greek yogurt and I don't have to have any product loss or separation that I need to do. And I found that when I did this SIBO starter with this culture, because I did do that as well, that it was almost like a sweetness, but I could taste it was a fermented sweetness.
Exactly,
And I
right?
think my body craved it better, and my stomach actually liked this a lot better than it did the SIBO.
Well, how many strengths is in this?
Well, my capsule, because it's before the 6-month change they did a bit ago, I've got 36 strains, and the new bottle only has 33 strains.
Okay.
So there's a bit of a difference,
still.
but the majority of the ingredients are still the same.
But before, when you made yogurt, you had
Like one or two
strains.
maybe 3 max.
This seems to be more balanced to me.
Not just balanced, but I think it's balanced, and because you're facilitating more gut healthy friendly bacteria and probiotics, that this is going to be more beneficial to the body and long-term health. Because let's be frank, our gut is filled with tons, and I mean, they actually say we're mainly bacteria. That's what I've heard scientists say, is we are mainly bacteria. So when we are facilitating the bacteria in our gut to be prolific, to be healthy, to be encouraged to grow, and help us and us help them, when it's the good guys, I have to clarify, then I see this being the better option, the better long-term health beneficial yogurt than doing just 1 or even 3 strains with SIBO. And realize this has the same strains, or the strains that are in a Reuteri and the SIBO yogurt are in here. So you're not losing anything with going this route instead of doing the SIBO and trying to get 3 cultures. Or this is, I think, the better approach, because you're not having to spend so much on buying multiple different cultures. You can just buy the one, fully complete with tons of strains in it, probiotic, and you get the 3 that you need if you're needing to go the SIBO route, but you're also facilitating other health in the gut as well. So I think cost-wise and long-term health-wise, I think this is the better
I like this.
option and route to take if one is looking to heal their gut and their microbiome and their health restoration. It's been a few hours since I did my initial stir, since it came off, and I wanted to show you guys how it's looking, so we'll find out together. Ooh, that looks beautiful. Okay, let's take a look. Oh,
Wow. Wow. That's the best of any.
Yeah, look at that.
That's the best ever.
Okay, now I'm going to go down deeper, see if we've got any separation.
Look at that.
I'm not seeing any separation. Now I see it's a little bit maybe more liquidy there at the bottom. See how it moves at the bottom?
That's perfect,
But,
though.
I mean, look at that. This is batch 1, Mom. Look at that.
It's batch 1, and it's purely from the capsule.
And the heavy cream. And we don't have any other culture, but look at the top layer, how I move it and it pretty much holds. Now the bottom, I do see some movement, but that's not huge. But look at how it's holding its shape.
Wow.
I mean, that is luxurious, especially for a first batch. I've never had a first batch do this.
None of the other batches, because the other batches to get to this point
Took a while.
You had to do several.
Yeah, we had to do a
So
lot
this
of
is first time, strictly from capsule, no inoculation from another culture. No.
It was just the one Ultimate Probiotic capsule, our heavy cream, and then of course our prebiotic fiber with processing at 99 degrees, 36 hours. I did do that initial stirring, but this is how it's doing after that initial stir, because we haven't consumed anything out of this particular one. But I mean, for me to move it and it pretty much hold its shape like that,
Wow.
That's better.
And what we like about this is that this has
all the strands from the SIBO.
a broad spectrum of this.
Yes,
Of
the broad spectrum. I think my favorite part is the broad spectrum. And one thing that I do want to mention, because at least what I've been doing, and I'm really loving, is I'll have this at night, because I made 2 containers of this, and this is the second one, but I divvied into the other one. And what I'm loving to do is to take this at night, and I like adding a little bit of my inulin to it just to give it, you know, kind of like a good start in my gut, even though it has all that, and to kind of facilitate them growing more as I'm consuming it. So it's kind of like I'm giving them the energy to multiply even more, but in my gut when I eat it. And I have that at night. If I'll either do it as my meal replacement for dinner, or I'll have it after a light dinner. And I found that it really helps with digestion, so that if I go to sleep at night, I feel like I'm sleeping better, and I am. I'm definitely sleeping better. And I feel like I'm digesting my food better, and I'm not going to sleep feeling like I'm hungry or like my stomach's upset, because sometimes I'll eat something, and if it's too close to my bedtime, I feel like it might upset my stomach at times. But when I've had this, it's like it goes in, it just calms everything down in a positive way. I feel like I'm actually getting the results with this product that I didn't with the others. I mean, that's just what I'm seeing in like the first week of doing this, because I started with the SIBO starter from my prior yogurt, and then I incorporated a capsule of the Ultimate Probiotic Yogurt. But I found that if I did this, that I just feel like this on its own, I think it's like it's the perfect blend of everything, that it's really going in with that inulin I'm taking at night, and it's just really facilitating a positive experience in my body, is what it feels like to me.
Congratulations, babe, because this looks like it's the winner.
Well, I mean, look at how it's holding on the spoon. I mean, none of them typically hold this one on the spoon unless I've done batches and batches and batches worth. And that's hoping everything's gone
And
smooth.
even at that, though, this seems to have a smoother.
I mean, look at how smooth this is. I've never had them be this smooth. And I usually have like, I want to say it's like sometimes it'll have like a chunkiness to it that I've got to stir.
Just a few chunks through it.
This has no separation. This has no water once I did that initial stir. Now I see the bottom is just a little bit, you know, if I push it, it collapses, but on the top, it's not doing that. But to have the lack of separation here, and to have the health benefits that I feel that we're experiencing, if I were to choose between all the yogurts I've made to date, this would actually be the one I would go for.
This is the ultimate.
Because it is truly, in my experience, the ultimate probiotic yogurt hint, that one can have in one's life.